Unaware that over half of the island, along with its adjoining waters, is a national park. Land and sea set aside and preserved for our enjoyment today and that of future generations. Most visitors arrive via St. Thomas, the hub of air and cruise activity in the Virgin Islands. St. Thomas, capital city Charlotte Amalie, which was founded in 1672, takes its name from a 17th century Danish queen. Some of the city's architecture reflects the 250 years of Danish rule. By the time the city was founded, historians say the harbor was already well known as a haven for ships, among them buccaneer sailing vessels. Such infamous scoundrels as Captain Kidd, Bluebeard, Blackbeard, and the French pirate Jean Hamelin are alleged to have frequented St. Thomas during the late 1600s. Designated a free port by the Danes in 1764, Charlotte Amalie remains duty-free today. Now visitors benefit from relaxed customs duties and taxes on local bounty found in numerous shops. Centuries before either the Danes or buccaneers dropped anchor, Indians populated the area. Archaeologists now believe that Indians island hopping north from South America may have arrived on St. John as early as 700 BC. Petroglyphs found at the falls on the Reef Bay Trail are thought to be the handiwork of these ancient Indian settlers. Christopher Columbus named the Virgin Islands on his second voyage in 1493. Nearly 200 years elapsed, however, before Danish planters arrived to establish permanent settlements and to colonize the islands. In 1717, the newly appointed Danish governor came to St. John with 20 planters, 16 slaves, and 6 soldiers. The slaves cleared the forest, terraced the hillsides, and planted sugarcane. Within 10 years, the population grew to nearly 1,000, and by the mid-1700s, some 88 working plantations were scattered throughout St. John. The slaves revolted in 1733, but the uprising was put down, although with great difficulty. It seemed as though the sugar economy would rule St. John forever. With the abolition of slavery in 1848, plantations were replaced by small farms. The sugar industry foundered, and St. John's population dropped from 2,000 to about 700 residents. Threatened by German expansion during World War I, the United States purchased the Danish West Indies as a strategic military stronghold in the Caribbean in 1917. During the second half of the 20th century, the islands have earned a reputation as America's paradise. Virgin Islands National Park was established in 1956. The island is only a 20-minute ferry boat ride from St. Thomas and 45 minutes by boat from the capital, Charlotte Amalie. Rich in cultural and natural resources, St. John offers something special for everyone. Park programs range from historic tours, talks and craft demonstrations to guided snorkeling tours and day-long hikes through the island's lush interior. Information about these programs can be found at the park's visitor center, a short 5-minute walk from the public ferry dock. With a rental vehicle or taxi guide, the entire island can be explored.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your town of Cruz Bay. We have about 3,000 people living on St. John's. Give us take a little more. If you want to get your pictures, you take them and we go further on.
St. John's beaches are narrow strips of sand, fringed by palms and native sea grape trees. With spearfishing prohibited throughout park waters and fishing prohibited in all forms at Trunk Bay, snorkeling is at its best in the crystal clear, warm seas surrounding the islands.
This strap then goes around your waist and next onto the other D-ring on the side of the vest. You see this little knob right here? Don't pull this little knob. This is a safety feature on the vest.
From time to time, you may also wish to go beneath the surface of the ocean and see what's down there, because different animals live at different levels on the coral reef. There are very few things out there that are going to be harmful to you. I like to impress upon people that you potentially could do harm to much more marine life than the marine life is going to do harm to you. So is everybody ready? And what I suggest is that people usually keep a safe distance from the reef, because the coral animals themselves, the skeletons they build are often very jagged and sharp. Hard coral is notorious for being very abrasive if you bump into it. And not only will you end up with a nasty scrape, but you'll also kill off several coral animals at the same time. So my best advice is for you to get close enough to enjoy what you see, but not so close that you'll collide with it.
Snorkelers are alert for colorful angelfish, large groupers, slim barracuda, and iridescent squid in the clear water around the reefs. Brilliant sponges and sea fans form underwater gardens, and sea turtles may be seen feeding in shallow offshore areas. Hawksbill, leatherback, and green sea turtles are native to Caribbean waters. Once found in abundance, their numbers have diminished in areas of the West Indies without protective regulations. Found in much greater numbers in U.S. Virgin Islands waters, it is hoped that the sea turtles' survival and population growth will be improved through protection under the Federal Endangered Species Act. The ruins of Annaberg Sugar Plantation reflect the colonial history of St. John and Virgin Islands National Park. To the northeast, a stunning view is had across the Sir Francis Drake Channel to nearby Tortola in the British Virgin Islands. At Annaberg, a trail system winds through the stone remains of a bygone era. The structures reflect the planters' need to use all available resources. Raw coral quarried just offshore. Native rock, mostly volcanic in origin. Yellow brick that arrived as ballast in the hulls of 18th century sailing ships. The ruins are stabilized and protected by the National Park Service. The traditions and folkways are preserved by native Virgin Islanders.
This is the coal pot, and this is the iron pot. This is what we call a big Johnny cake. the type of Johnny cake that was made during the plantation days. Some people call it a quick bread, you know.
Basket making, practiced centuries ago, is one of St. John's major cultural art forms.
What kind of material is it made out of?
What you say?
What kind of material?
Oh, the hoop vine.
The hoop vine.
You go in the forest on the dark side of the moon to pick your hoop vine. That's the time I go in the forest so that they don't have no bugs in the hoop vine.
This is the kind of basket they used to make in Tortola years ago. And because the ribs have to be further apart, the split for weaving have to be taken. You have to indent in the bottom so that when you put it down, it will be able to sit. The handle you glue together so that it becomes strong. It will take us about a little over 2 days, going on 3 days to make a basket like this. Preparing the materials, getting it from the forest, and so forth.
Coral Bay on St. John's remote east end is the site of the island's first permanent European settlement. While sugar reigned king on St. John, many predicted Coral Bay with its large plantations and protected harbors would surpass Charlotte-Amalie as the center of importance in the Danish West Indies. Moravian missionaries arriving on St. John in the early 1740s played an important role in the island's history. 2 missions were built, one near Cruz Bay and the second, Emmaus, in Coral Bay. In addition to fighting against the brutality of slavery, the Moravians established schools where blacks were taught religion, reading and writing, and such skills as masonry and carpentry. The Moravian congregation remains as an active, integral part of island life today.
Why don't you take this leaf, take a sniff of it. This is a bay leaf tree right here. And these leaves at one time would be used as another